origins was like the Scholastic book fairs and reading the books back then,
Oh yeah, man.
elementary school and all that. So, what books did you get from there? Like, what were some of those impacts? Like, how was that book fair's impact on your life?
Ah, man, I'm not gonna lie, it was a big impact, honestly. It was really just the beginning of my like love for reading, honestly. Like I said before in a couple of my videos, the Scholastic Book Fair was something that I was ecstatic every time it came through. I don't even remember how many times it came through, maybe once or twice every school year, but I always had to go. I always ask my mom if I get a couple dollars here and there, just trying to really scrape up any change I can because I wanted to get as much as possible. So when I went to the book fair, the main books that I got were Goosebumps by R.L. Stein. I
Okay.
love Goosebumps just because I'm one of those people, and especially as a kid, I love like getting my adrenaline going and kind of just being in that like scary mode or horror mode like that really got me going. I read a lot of Magic Treehouse.
Okay.
That was super cool. Real good series, and I think it's still going now. Honestly, those always kept my mind going. That kept my imagination like on 10. Um, Another one was Captain Underpants. That was like a graphic
Another
novel.
classic. Yep.
That was super classic. You know what I mean? And then another one was Animorphs, and that was I don't really hear a lot of people talking about that one, but it wasn't so much the books themselves, but it was the covers. It's because they had those crazy covers of kids turning into, what I'm saying, animals or whatever. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, those were some of the ones that I always picked up. I always grabbed all the little other knickknacks and stuff like that. But Scholastic Book Fair really had a huge impact on me just because it was again like the start of my love for reading, and it kind of really just got me in the mode of like liking and actually wanting to read. Whether like I said, it was a graphic novel or it was a novel when I was just reading it. Um, it was important for me to grab those books. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It really was important for me to at least get something when I went. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at that time, it wasn't we were kids, so it wasn't wrong to read, or it wasn't like lame or whatever. We were all kids, so we were all doing the same thing,
Yeah.
asking our we all asking our parents for money. We all trying to get whatever at the book fair. So yeah, it was the Scholastic Book Fair was literally like one of the most pivotal moments like in my life for sure.
It's funny you bring that up because I remember those coming to our school, and it's funny because it was in the library. So they would
Yep.
pop up in the library and you'd go to the library all the time. But when they showed up, you made sure you had your money right. You was getting
Everything.
posters, you was counting
Yeah.
you were trying to count all the beans or I think they did the jelly beans, whatever. You made
Yep.
sure you try
Yep.
to
The
get as
jelly
close as you
beans.
could so you could get a book or something. And I just remember those being impactful too. So when you said that, I
Mm-hmm.
remember those. You're bringing up a lot of memories. And then even with Anamorphous and all that, like those books really had a big impact on a lot of people. I was more in like the Magic Tree House, but in the
Yeah.
Captain Underpants. So, but yeah, all those were really big. Growing up, like what was the reading culture like? Like any important people or events that kind of made you love books?
Um, Honestly, growing up where I'm from, there really was no reading culture. Um, and I wouldn't necessarily say that's a bad or a good thing. Um, Culture was just more of what you see in, I kind of hate to say it, what you see in most Black communities. It's just either like go to school and get a good job or do whatever you have to, get money and all these other things that, are enticing to, young Black kids, whatever. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was a reading culture. And honestly, I wouldn't even say there's a reading culture now. I wouldn't even say that, well, I wouldn't say that there isn't a reading culture, but it's not as open,
Mhm.
because I think that people do read and people like to read, but it's still kind of like a stigma behind it. If you say you read, so I really don't think it's much of like an open culture. But if you talk to people, you'll find out that they like to read and stuff like that. And that's what I've noticed since I've been doing this. Um, but some influential people, it's really just my mom. I watched my mom read as I grew up, and my mom was really into like the urban fiction books, so it was real like ghetto for like lack of a better word.
Yeah.
But she loved those books, and I'm talking about she had hundreds of them. You know,
Okay.
so whenever she was just chilling around or just vibing out, she was reading a book. You know, and I never was. And as I got older, I kind of veered away from it, but she was always reading. So that was one thing. Like, and I love my mother to death. You know what I'm saying? I proclaim myself as a mama's boy. You know what I'm saying? So she is really the main person who got me into reading, and the Scholastic Book Fair was like the main event that really
Yep.
got me, stuck on reading and like embedded reading into who I am.
Gotcha. If you enjoyed that clip, make sure you head over to www.bookupapp.com to download our app so you can connect with your favorite bookish content creators, start conversations, and start your own book club.